Hello, hello, hello. Welcome again, people, to Just Be a Man. Thank you for joining us yet again. Hey, we got the normal cast of characters, but today, Wayne, it is me, Wayne, who will be leading the show tonight. And our topic is going to be about the changing roles of males in the household with this new generation. But first, we have a couple things we want to go through first. We want to start with going to our sponsor as normal. Charles is going to talk to our sponsor. Charles?
All right, guys, as you know, summer is here, and our friends at Manscaped just launched the fourth generation performance package, which includes the Lawnmower 4.0. That's right, the Lawnmower 4.0, guys. You know that's big news. Okay, so to complement your dad body or your six pack, whatever you're carrying around, with a trim from the leaders in male grooming. That's what it's all about. The sun is shining. It's calling your name, fellas. So join the 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped for their grooming needs and get 20% off plus free shipping by going to manscaped.com and entering the code JBAMSCAPE. Now it's JBAM for those that can't spell. JBAMSCAPED. That's the code that you need to enter in order to get the 20% and the free shipping. Now it's time to bundle up with Manscaped, guys. This is the Performance Package 4.0. Inside this package, now you're going to find the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer. You're going to get the weed whacker for your ears. You're going to get the nose hair trimmer. You're also going to get the crop preserver, which is ball deodorant. It's going to make your boys smell really good. For the ladies, that's very important, guys. Trust me. And you got the crop reviver toner. Now, you heard it mentioned last week, that there is a person within the group, who shall remain nameless, 50-plus-year-old, and is carrying around a ball sack of a 28-year-old. Trust and believe me, that I'm not even gonna say any more about that, but that's one of those things. That person, however, has been using the package for a couple of years, so I can understand why they would be
Balling out.
they would be smooth like that, smooth like that, smooth like Gary Coleman. So,
like Gary Coleman.
That's right. So Manscaped even threw in the free gifts for this Performance Package 4.0, a pair of high performance boxers, a shed travel bag. Bring your grooming and boxers to another level, guys. Join Manscaped again. Remember, 20% off plus free shipping and handling by going to manscaped.com, entering the code JBAMSCAPE. That's again 20% off plus free shipping and handling. Escape the shrubs and the weeds for the summer, guys, and shine with Manscaped. So back to you, Wayne.
And shine.
That's right. Shine them up.
Shiny balls.
Yes, sir.
Shiny balls. All right, people. All right. So that's fun. All right. So, hey, a couple of little updates we want to provide. First of all, this is our 70th episode.
70.
Wow.
70. We've been
Already?
doing this.
We are senior citizens.
Hey, we're getting it in. We're getting it in. So we have 70 episodes out there for you guys to listen to. Well, after this, you have 70 episodes. And what has happened is, I failed to mention at the beginning, we're missing one of our people. Stefan is not available today.
Yeah, happy anniversary, brother.
Shout out to both of them. Happy anniversary to both of you. We love you and enjoy. But not too much.
Yeah, and so he's with us in spirit, and then maybe he's even listening a little bit. But just wanted to mention that real quick. But as I was saying, we're 70 episodes in. We've been at this for a year and a half plus. So we've learned a lot. We've gained a lot. So we're gonna take a little break. It's time for a break. This will be our last episode for a little bit. We will be making sure everyone is aware when we're coming back. We'll make sure we announce that all. But we are going to take a quick hiatus and try to retool, reestablish, tighten up some of the things that we do, fix some of the things we're doing bad, and improve on some of the things we're already doing okay. So that's
Right.
that's our plan. That's our plan. So thank you, and please bear with us. And in the meantime, you can go out to YouTube and find all of our stuff. Everything we got is on YouTube. JBAM Just Be a Man 2020 on YouTube. All right, we'll have some more information before we get to the end. So again, thank you for joining us on all the different social media platforms. Thank you for joining us on the podcast. And one thing I mentioned, when we do our podcast, that we have a disclaimer at the beginning. So some of the times we may not say it, but this is all our opinions.
Yep.
Not get upset. This is our opinions. And so we're just letting you know that. So we're going to talk about
them. You trying to warn them in advance for tonight?
Hey. I'm not saying it might, who knows? But what we're also going to do, we're also going to try something else a little different tonight. Is we're going to have a couple segments here. Each of us has a little segment, just a little snippet of information, news, whatever you want to call it. And we're gonna touch on politics, sports, business, and celebrity news or entertainment news. So why don't we start with Chuck with the political information?
Yeah, let's get the boring stuff out the way. It is what it is, man. I'm just gonna keep it real and read it to you. Some of the things that are affecting our community is the voting rights, right? So here's what they've enacted so far. 18 states have enacted new laws that make it harder to vote. Harder for who? For us, right? And as you can imagine, they're all red states, okay? So, I mean, it's really not too much more to say about that. So for those who are affected in those areas, voter turnout is important. Get out there and vote. That's the only way to turn this thing around, man. All right. Biden has mandated that everyone gets vaccinated, right? So, of course, the right is a little upset about that. But here's something that's going on in the House. The House has mandated that you have to, all the House members, everyone in there has to wear a mask. Of course, the right is upset about that, and they're boycotting it, if you will, and protesting it. And they're doing so by obviously at some point not wearing masks, things like that. So then now the police, Capitol Police, have put out a mandate that says if you don't wear your mask, you're going to be asked to leave. They're already fining them, but they're saying we're going to ask you to leave. If you don't leave, then we're going to arrest you. That's the caveat. That's how they get you, because you can't arrest you for not wearing a mask, right? But if we ask you to leave, or we tell you to leave, in other words, you're trespassing at this point and you fail to leave, then they can arrest you. So it's going to be interesting in the next couple of weeks to see how it goes on Capitol Hill, the infighting, because masks are now mandatory, and Pelosi and the gang, they're not having it with the right. So
that's kind of crazy. I was going to say real quick that I've heard that it's like 100% of the new cases with this Delta variant, 100% of these cases are unvaccinated people.
Yeah, it's either unvaccinated or I believe they got maybe their first round or first dose, but yeah.
I mean, don't know what else there is to say.
The numbers don't lie.
Nope.
You don't have to be an accountant. It just is what it is. But they're still actively denying it. They've changed the narrative. I'm sorry, they're not denying it now. Now the right is actually saying they've switched gears. Hey, you've got to go out and get vaccinated. But now they're trying to take credit for Trump rolling the vaccination out after we know that it was stalled and all that. So, but it's all it's all politics, and it's all about trying. Yeah. So.
All right. Well, thank you, Chuck.
Yes, sir.
Good update, sir.
Any comments?
Yes, sir.
All right, so I have another boring section, so I guess I'll go now. I want to talk about business. My section is business, and so just a couple really, really quick things that I came across. There was someone named April Ross, who's an HBCU graduate of Alabama State University, who is now the owner of a television station in LaGrange, Georgia, which happens to be the same one she interned at many years ago. So that's a pretty good story. So she is now an entrepreneur and an owner of that. So I thought that was a really big thing.
That's pretty cool.
One other thing I wanted to bring up is, I know everyone's heard about this and this kind of bleeds into the sports a little bit, but former President Barack Obama is now minority owner of NBA Africa.
Yeah.
This is not a franchise. This is the whole shit, right? This is the whole shit for Africa. So I'm just saying that's business news. So he's making big moves.
Yes, sir.
So Hey, that's it. That's it. So, hey, Mike, what you got for us in entertainment?
Hey man, cruising, the internet and watching the TV, whatever. Come to find out, we got something to look forward to November 19th. Will Smith has an upcoming movie, and he's starring as the Williams sisters' father. It's called King Richard.
I saw that pilot, man. That was all
I
right.
saw some
Yeah, look
previews.
hot.
I saw some previews. It looked like it's gonna be some good stuff, man. We might have to have a watch party or something, a Zoom watch party or something. Who knows?
Yeah.
Hey, yeah.
We'll figure it out, But I thought that was pretty cool. Moving on to bigger and better things. There's a show called Beyond the Pole. Are you guys familiar with it?
Say again.
Beyond the what?
Beyond the Pole.
Never
It's
heard of that
about
one.
how strippers are transitioning from the pole to real life. It's on WeTV, and it's supposed to be the Atlanta's hottest dancers' life beyond the pole and how they handle
Life
it and the
beyond the
different
pole.
problems.
Hey,
Right
where are they located?
It's
It's
on
on-
pole.
Hey,
It's
man,
on-
this
it's on-
this is purely for research purposes. All right.
For research
So,
purposes only.
You got to
Yeah,
critique the
agree.
show. You got to
I'm
critique
gonna
the
do some
show.
research my damn self.
Yeah.
I'm gonna definitely do some research. But it's coming on tonight at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 9 p.m. Central. So check it out. I don't know
You know,
what is WeTV.
it's
Anyway?
past my bedtime.
What is
What you
WeTV?
You said we?
Yeah, WETV. What is that?
I think that's like women's entertainment. It's like another.
Okay, well I might have to
Lifetime,
check it out. Well, for entertainment purposes only, but also for research. As Chuck said, research. You know what
That's
I mean?
it. Yeah.
I want to see, what the benefit package is.
That's all.
Who-
That's
who-
all. That's all.
I
Point
wanna
is.
know- I want to know who the human resource officer is. That's what I want to know. Anyway, transitioning to other things. You got your boy Kanye West out there wild, and he written out Mercedes-Benz stadiums in Atlanta. I heard it's for like $1 million a day. Rumor has it, I don't know. But he's trying to finish up the album Donda. I don't know if that's related to his mom.
Yeah.
That's some relation to his mom, but he's trying to finish it. I think they had to push the album back, so he's working on it. But the crazy thing was that well, first of all, let's back up. His accommodations are very basic. He's sleeping in a twin bed in the locker room. It's an auxiliary locker room. He has a small like closet that the players use. And he's surrounded by like these gray, basic concrete walls. I don't know. Maybe that's where he gets his thought process going, where he doesn't have a lot of distractions. But it's funny that he's still in the stadium. They had a soccer game there, and he's in his. I guess he's in his room working on his music while they got a soccer game going on. But the crazy thing was that he had a listening party, right? And he invited like 42,000 people. But the crazy thing is they had to wait 2 hours. And then while they was waiting, I think this is the setup, he was charging $50 for chicken tenders and $40 for a hot dog.
But they
Come
bought
on,
it, didn't
man.
they? But they
Oh,
bought
they
it.
bought it. And you know
Hey,
they
look.
bought it.
Hey, look, man. I want to give my disclaimer. I am not a Kanye West fan. He lost me forever with that whole. You know where I'm going with it.
Yeah.
But he may be crazy, and he is crazy as hell. But he ain't stupid.
Oh, he makes some money.
Yeah,
brother.
Kanye West is a billionaire, and
Yes,
he's a
sir.
billionaire
Not by
for a reason.
mistake. Not
Yeah,
by
he-
mistake.
all right.
Yeah.
So if his name is attached to anything, people are gonna pay $40 for a bucket of for 4 chicken tenders and a handful of fries.
Hey, man, dude's crazy like a
If
fox,
$50
man.
for a hot dog, I hope it's a jumbo.
Hey,
Hey,
All right. All right.
$40. If
That's
I'm paying
Hey.
$40, it better be big as a zucchini. So I'll be holding it and eat it. I don't know if that look right on the TV. Does it look right on?
Hey, Mike, that's a different show. That's a different show.
Oh, that's a different show. Okay.
it's gonna be on WeTV next week though.
That's right.
10 p.m. Is that it, Mike?
That is it, brother.
All right. That's a good shout out. Hey, Charles, what you got in sports?
Man, a couple of things going on. I don't know if you guys realize it, but the NFL training camps have, kicked off, and preseason. The first preseason game is a week from today. A week
right.
from today,
Yeah.
believe it or
I
not.
didn't know that.
I can't wait.
Yeah, next
can't wait. I'm
Thursday,
happy.
Cowboys versus Steelers. That's the Hall of Fame game, and
Stop
that's
playing.
moving us right into the season. But the other thing that's tripping me out, man, there's been all this dialogue about Deshaun Watson, AA Ron in Green Bay. They're in camp, man. They're in camp. They're practicing. So, I don't know what's going to happen going forward as far as whether or not they're going to be retained on their current teams. But I think, it just says a lot, the fact that they're in training camp, they're practicing, and they're moving their teams forward, it appears. Now, as far as this whole COVID thing, I don't know if you all heard the news, but Lamar Jackson, quarterback of the Ravens, has contracted. He tested positive for COVID. And there are a number of players around the league, man, that are starting to come up with positive COVID tests. And, you know, my favorite team, the Washington football team, has the lowest rate of COVID vaccinations in the league. And I don't know about you guys, but that kind of pisses me off, man, you know, because now we're talking about individuals that are putting other players in jeopardy. You know, we're talking about, they're talking about the possibility of forfeiting games, game checks, stuff like that for the people that are impacting the league in that way. So I just think it's rather disgusting that folks are still out there. They're not doing what they're supposed to do, and they're impacting so many other people. We're talking about a physical
Selfish.
sport. Yeah, it's very selfish, man.
Selfish.
So yeah, that's a little disturbing. The other big news in sports, as you all know, the Olympic Games are in full effect. They run through the 8th of August. The United States right now is leading the overall medal count with 38. However, China and Japan are tied for the most as it relates to gold medals. And the United States is second in that category. But the even bigger news, the biggest news coming out of the Olympics are the mental health issues, man. We got Sha'Carri Richardson, who was smoking weed after the loss of her mom. And, you know, we discussed that on a previous show, and she essentially disqualified herself, right? But then coming after that, we have Naomi Osaka, the tennis player. She's like number 3 in the world rankings, right? She loses to somebody that's like ranked 50th in the world. And it looks like she's not even going to take a medal home. And she's one of the best out there. And it's well documented that one of the reasons why, or at least she's citing, is mental health issues. And then lastly, you know, this past week, we have Simone Biles, you know, who basically just had a complete mental breakdown and had to pull herself out of competition because she just, you know, she couldn't do it. You know, it's a possibility that she was going to injure herself because she just could not get it done on the mat. And you talk about the best in the world. She is highly regarded as the GOAT of women's gymnastics, man. So I was just curious to get your quick thoughts on this whole mental health thing in the Olympics.
Well, hey, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mike.
No, I just want to say real quick, I think she was doing fine until she got a boyfriend. Yeah.
That may have something to do with it. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It may have, yeah.
Hey, man, she may have gotten that text, "We need to talk," you know, right before going on the mat. I mean,
she might have got a text, "We need to talk," or you know what I mean? Or you never know.
Yeah.
You know, she stayed up late last night, partying, having a good time with a man. Who knows? I don't know. But all I know, when she didn't have a man, she was laser focused. She did everything she had to do. And now that she got the Love Jones for the body and the skin tone, everything going wrong.
Well, look, I want to give her a little more credit than that, man, because I think she's a consummate professional. She's been doing this. She's been training for this her entire life. This isn't her first rodeo. I think, if anything, it speaks to her one, her professionalism, 2, her leadership. It takes a lot to be able to say, hey, maybe I need to step back because I'm just not feeling it. And if I move forward, I stand a better chance of losing everything, and not just for me, but for everyone. So maybe if I just step back out of this, that takes a leader. And but not only that, that is hard to do. That's hard to do for an individual to just come out and say, hey, I'm having an issue, a problem.
Facts.
Imagine being as you said, the GOAT, the greatest gymnast in front of the world. She's not talking to her peers. She has to, in front of the world, I have to step back. And she had to choose herself instead of her country. That's huge. So I hear, you know, people, you've got some people, especially on the far right, that have said, you know, oh, she's not a real competitor competing at that level, needs to be able to deal with the stress. No, you never know. Again, pressure busts pipes. who knows when that pressure is going to be so great that it could happen when you are at the Junior Olympics. It could happen when you're at the Olympics. It could happen. So the bottom line is, my opinion in terms of Simone Biles, kudos to you. Thanks for being a role model. Thanks for putting your bravery on display. And God damn, how strong do you have to be to say, I choose me instead of Team USA?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Dude, that's huge.
Well, maybe somebody on the men's basketball team needs to step up and say no mas, because they getting their asses whooped.
Yeah.
I mean, they lost to France, bro. I mean, come on now. They lost to Nigeria. They lost.
Yeah. Yeah. But hey, but they did beat Iran.
Hey, okay, yeah, all right, Iran. Do they even have a basketball team?
Hey, they got 4 players. So, all right, so listen.
And they ran.
All right, so listen, we're gonna kind of shift here. So again, for you guys who've been listening with us, been working with us a little bit, we're trying something new out, and we'll hopefully we'll get this refined a little bit better. But we want to have a little bit of a couple segments just to talk about some current events, so we didn't just focus on one thing. We kind of moved it around a little bit. Hope you guys like that, and we'll hopefully we'll get a little bit. We'll clean that up just a bit, and we'll move forward. So again, our topic for today is the changing roles of males with this new generation. A really good topic, and there's a lot of ways for this to go.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of ways for this to go. So again, this is all our opinions. We are not professionals. This is just what we're thinking. So bear with us. So, okay, so I'm gonna start like this. When we first got this topic, thought it was a really interesting topic, and for me personally, referring to Generation Z was something new to me. Like I don't know these generations and all that other stuff. So basically, I had to do a little bit of research and had to kind of figure out what that meant. So basically, it's these younger people, right? So just think about it. These are the people who are just getting out of school now, or still in school, and who are exposed to all the things that they're exposed to today. So now we're talking about roles of men. We're specifically about the roles of men. If you go back in tradition, right or wrong, traditionally you have a man, a woman, and you have a kind of a structured household. Maybe an older term might be the mother takes care of everything inside the house, the father takes care of everything outside the house. Those are very, very basic things, right? Now, the way that the world is going, there's a whole lot of confusion, if you ask me. It's confusing because you hear these terms like binary, right? And you hear these terms like gender neutral. And so there's these things where these individuals, these young people are, I don't want to say, they're kind of, it's suggested that you become gender fluid, if you will, and be accepting of anything, everything, no matter what. All right, so that's my read on it, right? So what I want to do first, I would like to go around and see, talking about the confusing, well, maybe it's not confusing, but the way that the gender situation is being identified now. Just basic thoughts on it. Just honest, basic thoughts. Let me start with Mike.
I don't know, man. I don't think you can accept everything. You have to use a filter. But there's a lot of influences out there. A lot of these new youth are consuming a lot of this social media, this fake news. They have to decipher. I think they have to decipher more now than we did before. And for me, I'm old school. I like the structure. I like to have structure. I like to know what I'm getting into, whatever. And now this new thing with the pronouns and verbs and adjectives, unpack my adjectives. I gotta come to somebody's house with my conjunction junction video. Watch your function. hooking up phrases. I can't say what I want to say because, I go to the store, instead of excuse me, miss, I got to say excuse me. I can't say excuse me, miss, because that person might be, next thing you know, excuse me, miss might turn into a misdemeanor. You know what I mean? So I just got to be careful.
Okay.
Just like the situation I told y'all before, I was walking into the bagel store one morning. I held the door for a young lady. She said, thanks, but no thanks. So I said, "Bleh," and I walked in. I'm only using what I learned when I was raised. You hold the door for young ladies, whatever. But now you can't even give up your seat. Somebody might get offended.
All right, Chuck. What are your thoughts? Basically.
It's just not our world anymore. It's the next generation is taking it and they're turning it into their thing, and I don't think it's bad. Here's the problem I have. Each generation goes through this this metamorphosis or this period of self-discovery, right? And I think that's what they're doing with their pronouns and things like that. That doesn't bother me because it has nothing to do with me. I'm not gay. I'm not part of that world, and so it just doesn't bother me. It's just do you.
But
my issue is I don't know. I guess I was just having
How does it not bother you if you go to somewhere, a party somewhere, and you speak to somebody, say, "How you doing, miss?" and they say that's not, and then they correct you on your approach of what you learned as a gentleman, how to address a young lady, and she said, "Well, that's not my whatever," and you have to be redirected. How would that? You don't think that affects you if something doesn't affect you?
Look. I guess I'm yes. To answer your question, yes, it would bother me internally. I don't think that's a correction that needs to be made. I think just common sense is when you're meeting someone for the first time and you're saying hello, hey, and you're going strictly by visual and it's gender based. If I happen to call you, hey, ma'am, how are you? I'm sorry, that's a personality thing to me, and I judge people on that. Because I think most rational people wouldn't do that. But again,
It's out there.
oh no doubt, and I've been a victim. I think we all have in some way, shape, or form. I got the same thing actually that you got, Mike. Holding the door for somebody. But you like, but yeah, but what can you do other than bitch, and roll out. But yeah, no, in my mind, I had a whole diatribe of things that I wanted to say about this topic, but there's a part of me that doesn't understand this new generation, but there's a part of me that is trying to observe and learn. There are some things that I do see that I like. I'm a father of two girls. I'm sorry, two women now. And, I try to empower them just as much, if not more, than my son. So when I see women, take the power back, if you will, or whatever the terminology is, I applaud that because I do see the sexist side of things. And again, I have to sit and talk to my girls, or I have had to in the past, about why things weren't, how come I'm not getting paid as much as, and so I mean that stuff is real.
Mhm.
So I mean, I'm trying to learn as much as I can about this new generation. I'm trying to be as open as I can so that I can relate to my kids, even, and I do like the fact that this generation is angrier and not taking as much and pushing back against the system, and it's more visual, it's more audio now, it's more social. More people are getting the message that we are still oppressed, that 40 acres and a mule shit, come on. So I'm open to the new changes of this thing, but it's hard being old school and having old school values.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yep, I agree with that.
Charles, thoughts on this culture, this changing culture?
Well, we're talking about men mostly, right? You know,
Absolutely.
the changing role of men. And I think the jungle is still the jungle, which means that it's all based on the survival of the fittest. And, you know, you've always had the alpha males out there. But what's happening with this society is that the alpha male is no longer dominant because now you're introducing other things into the sample size or into the jungle, so to speak. So there's no, I mean, I know we've been kind of talking around it, and I'm just going to get straight to the point. Um, there is a homosexuality is prominent now. Growing up back in the day, it wasn't like that before. You on every major television show, every major movie, radio program, I don't care, you know, commercials now, it's prominent, right? So I'm not anti-homosexual, I'm not. But what it does introduce into our sort of purview is a different type of male, you know, a more feminine male. And I think that some of us that are of sort of an old school nature, when we are now getting exposed to more and more of that, it feels foreign to us. It doesn't feel right. It feels, yeah, it feels very, you know, uncomfortable. We're having uncomfortable conversations. You know, we're trying to raise boys and we're trying to explain, you know, why you know, two men are kissing on the corner or walking down the street holding hands, you know. And again, not to say, not to bash homosexuals, because I'm not doing that, you know. And I'm always a to each his own type of person. You live your life the way you want. I live my life the way I want. But we have to acknowledge what's happening is that the lines are being blurred now.
Yeah.
And whether that puts us in a better or worse place as a society, I don't know if I can necessarily speak on that, but I can speak on the fact that as a male, as a 50-plus-year-old male that has grown up in this society, it's a noticeable difference to me. And it's something that, again, is very sort of, you know, foreign to what I'm accustomed to.
Okay, so I agree with what everyone's saying here, and what I will say to what Chuck said, which I do agree with, is that this is the way things are going, right? The reason that we're talking about it is because we're on the outside looking in, right?
Mhm.
So that's why we're even speaking on it. So it's to Charles's point, to everybody, it's not a matter of right and wrong. It's a matter of what we were trained, or what is acceptable, what is commonplace for us,
Mhm.
right? So many years back, I don't know how many, but there was a show out there called Modern Family. Everyone's heard of it. I don't know if you've watched it or not, but everyone's heard of it. It's been around for a very long time. And there's a lot of different concepts that they're trying to portray in this, and they're calling this the modern family. And I think one of the things that becomes challenging, I guess, to me is that when you normalize things, it almost seems like you don't give people a choice. Like this is just the way it is, and that's okay. But let everyone be able to have an opinion, right? So there's a lot of things that go on where you know, I think there was just a Pride Month recently, and you know, it's a big deal. But I think what people don't really understand is that that group has power. Like they move differently. Like they make shit happen.
Mhm.
They just do, and things change because they make it change. So I think that when we talk about how males are being brought up and how males are going to, you know, these are the who I guess we would expect to lead the new families or the next generation of families. You know, what is it that they're going to instill? What is it that they're going to do? And again, it's not right or wrong. It's different from what we do today.
Yeah, you know, the other thing that I would speak on, I just had a conversation this week with my son. He walked his girlfriend out to the car, and I noticed that he didn't open her car door for her. Now, based on the conversation that we're having, based on Mike's experience, Chuck's experience, am I teaching him right? You know, should he be opening her door. Now, are we killing chivalry? You know what I'm saying? Because as a man, I was taught that, you do open and close the door. You pull out the woman's chair. If she's cold, you offer her your jacket, and we all know, having, played the dating game and being in relationships, who's expected to pick up the check at dinner?
Yep.
So are we now being an asshole if we just stare at the check when it comes and be like, is it you or me?
I think it's causing more confusion, man, if you ask me. The thing about it is, if the Generation Z are going to be more demanding and they want to be eager to stand out, then say what you're going to say. If you're part of that program, say what you got to say, but all I'm saying is don't force it on people. You know what I mean? If somebody says, that's why I'm saying, if there's a guideline, put it out there, let people know so nobody violates or says the wrong thing. Because like you said, now when I go into a store, I can't say, hey, mister, or hey, miss. I got to say, excuse me, can you help me, or whatever, or excuse me, miss. Because I used to say, excuse me, miss, excuse me, mister. I used to put a hand on it. Now I can't even put a hand on it, because next thing you know, somebody gonna get upset because I put the wrong hand on it. You know what I mean? So I think that I don't know. It's just tough, man. Trying to raise them the way I grew up. But what you see on TV, like you said, you see this stuff on TV, but you're trying to raise them a certain way to be a productive, citizen, and these things are happening. And the weird part is, it's not just what you see on TV, but there's different entities that are coming for our kids. You know what I mean? This is what they do. They're coming for our kids.
So everyone here, everyone on this call has a son, right? And
a daughter.
Well, we're talking about sons right now.
Okay.
Everyone has a son. And in an effort to raise these boys, us 50-year-olds, in an effort to raise these boys in, I guess, some sort of a combination of what we've been taught and what society now dictates, how do you do that? I'll start with you, Chuck. How do you do that? Is it does your thinking or your process overrule society? You're on mute. And
you're on mute, bro.
Sorry. No, in my opinion, no. The only thing we can do as parents is give them the foundation. Right. So you train up a child in the way that you were trained, right? To be, morally right, ethically, all that stuff, right? You raise them in the best way you know how to be the best human being that you know how. After that, it's up to them to really learn, continue to be socialized and learn how to move in the world. They're not us. They're their own individuals. We can only pass on to them what we've learned and hope that they retain that base knowledge, so that when they're of age, they can go out and start to formulate their own opinions, make their own mistakes, and grow and learn from all that stuff. So it's as parents, we can only do so much. We can just pass it on, man. It's up to them to really take it and go, because again, society today is different from society when we were younger.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to take what we've learned from the past and be able to now assimilate into a growing and changing future.
But let me ask you this then. Sorry. So Chuck, the same example that Charles said with his son. So you see your son walking his girlfriend out to her car, whatever. Whether you say something to him or not, do you think he's supposed to do something different?
Different? No, I think that's just
whatever they do is fine.
Well, it's no. I mean, engage him. Ask him. He's your son. You have a different thought process, obviously. Okay, my son, me. I've always taught my son to open the door for a young lady. He didn't open the door for this young lady. Why? Hey man, I happen to notice that you didn't open the door for the young lady. What's going on? That's also a part of being a parent. You got to listen.
All right.
Talk to your kid, get some, find out what's going on, try to get some positive, and that could be the time for you to now it's up to you to make a correction. Hey, I understand that you didn't open the door because of but just understand she's still a young lady. She still deserves respect. And your last impression is just as good as your first impression.
But see, that's where I'm going. If you do guide him in that way, are you guiding him properly?
You're guiding him in the way that you were raised. You're guiding him in the way that you were raised. Those are your standards, but those are the standards from your generation, right?
Exactly.
So now it's you've taught him, you raised him up in the way, just like your core knowledge came from your parents and their parents. Okay, so now we take that, we give it to our kids, and then it's up to them to take that core knowledge that we give them, that we've passed on generationally, and now they have to apply that in today's society. They have to learn how to move. It's up to them. After 18, 21, whatever it is, when you cut the umbilical cord or you let them fly, it's up to them to learn how to move through this world successfully.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
It's going to take a lot, brother. It's just going to take a lot, because the kids are influenced by their smartphone. They're on the phone all the time. They're seeing all this different stuff. Nothing. If something's always changing every day. Somebody calls somebody to call me this. Now they call you that. It changes. It's getting to the point where it's going to be like the barbershop. You got to go in there and point to the chart. What you want? Okay, well, I want you to open the door for me. I want you to, call me by a certain name. What do you do? I mean, you don't know. So my thing is that all we can do is tell them or explain to them how we used to do it. You have to ask. I think a lot of this is going to be the asking generation. I hate to say it, but you're going to have to ask. When you meet somebody, when you do, how you do the dating game. All right. And you're going to have to take it a step further. Do you have a problem with chivalry? Well, I do, because I don't think, and then you might find out you might be dating the feminist. That might end the date right there.
But But you see how we're sitting here trying to figure out this shit out, and how we're supposed to move, and how these kids have already got to figure out. You don't, this isn't a problem. You haven't seen this on TMZ or on CNN, and how do I talk? No, I'm just saying it's not a big deal, because generationally, these kids, they're coming up together. So they're moving they know how to move, and we're the the dinosaurs.
Agreed. But because
I'm saying we're keeping them in that bubble. Are
we keeping them from moving forward? Are we keeping them from progressing by giving them old
values? No, just like with the generation before us, they didn't prevent us from moving forward. I mean, there's absolutely nothing wrong with being a more tolerant generation, which is what I think we're raising up. But at the end of the day, I think it's already been spoken on this podcast. It's up to me to raise the men in my household. It's up to, the women to raise their daughters to be women, to be a certain kind of way. And it's all, like Chuck said, it's all foundational. Now, society, is going to move in the way that society moves. I mean, we're seeing things that are becoming more normalized, that are just, before, again, that would not have been the case. And, but we have to teach our kids and have the conversations with them that enable them to move forward from where they are. One of the things I would slightly disagree with Chuck is that they haven't figured it out. They're figuring it out. It's like, when you think about it, I have teenagers in my house, or at least, a teenage girl who's about to go away to college. The brain is not even fully developed until you get to, like your early 20s. So she's still figuring things out. So it's important for us to, again, give her that core foundation and make sure we stay in her ear, and, not in a way that's like, dinosaurish. You know what I'm saying? But in a way that, that is consistent with what's going on today.
No, I agree. We're all still learning. But in terms of, I'm talking about the kids being able to communicate, like with the pronouns and things like that. We're the ones that are talking about that, not the kids. They know how to move around that stuff, because that they're dealing with it. It's real time for them. For us, we're playing catch up. So that's what I meant by that. But yeah, in terms of learning, Charles is 150% correct, man. These kids, they're not there yet. They're still learning the life lessons.
So just to come back, to kind of wrap this all together, I guess I'd like for each of you to guys kind of chime in on this last kind of thing. We're talking about the roles of the man in the household. Now, we've already identified that what we think is outdated, antiquated, whatever, but that's the best point of reference we have.
Mhm.
So we can't teach for the future. We can teach what we know, right? So I guess my question would be, I'll start with you, Charles. With the men of this new generation, the new leaders of the household of the new generation, are you concerned? Are you concerned, or think they'll get it taken care of?
No, I think it's up to every household, every man, every woman to figure out their own situation.
Okay.
There's some things going on in my household that, my grandfather may not have agreed with. Case in point, we have a 2-income household. I work, as you all know, 99% of the time from home. And my wife, unfortunately, based on the type of work she does, has to go outside of the home. So what that means for my household is the majority of the cooking, the majority of the cleaning, the majority of the laundry falls on me. Now, some may look at that and say,
Yes, sir.
that dude is a soft dude because he's taken on some of those traditional, sort of, roles that were considered to be more female oriented than they are today. So again, it goes back to the notion where I know who I am as a man, and there ain't nothing feminine about me. So but we do what works for our household. These are the things that make it work. These are the things that make us happy. Things are the things are at the end of the day make us strong. So that's what I would have to say about that. Now, hopefully in doing that, I'm setting a positive example, especially for my boys in my household, that they see that I'm doing those things. I'm trying to teach them how to cook, how to be self-sufficient, and to let them know that there's nothing more masculine than a man who is capable of running his household in every facet.
Yes, sir.
That's what I have to say about that.
All right. I like it. Chuck, I saw you drinking, Mike. Go ahead, Chuck.
Ain't nothing in the cup.
Put that vodka down.
I tell you what, let's jump to Mike. Come back to me.
So let me say the question one more time.
Yeah.
And it was really pretty simple. Based upon this conversation we've had here and just your personal thoughts, are you concerned about the future of the men in the household in the future? Are you concerned?
I am not. The ones that I can't reach out to, maybe, because I don't have the collective responsibility that goes on at the house. Like what Charles said, it's collective. I'm home now. I'm retired, so I'm home more than anybody. So I'm expected to make sure, I get up in the morning, I walk the dogs, I make sure the kids are taken to camp, whatever. Dinner, I pull out food for dinner, whether I cook it or not for the next day, whatever. But it's all a collective responsibility. There's nothing damaging about a male taking on some of the roles, because actually you're boosting, and you're like Charles says, you're bringing the household more together, because when when your wife gets home or whatever, she's very appreciated. I hope she is. For some people, they appreciate that, because that reduces the time for them to to wind down or whatever. But as far as the males in my household, all I can do is try to set my example, and then they also have to compile what they learn out in the real world on top of what I base. So I set a foundation, but what they build on top of it is up to them. That's all I can say. So I can set the foundation for them. They see how I move. They see what I do. They see how I interact with my wife. They see how I interact with their sister. They know how I handle business. I take care of business. I do everything I'm supposed to do. Now, when you get out in the real world, you're going to take what you saw, what you learned there, and you're going to pick from what you need to do to survive. So I'm not worried about it.
Okay.
Because kids watch every move you do. You don't think they're watching, they're listening, and they're watching everything you do, even up until their early 20s or more,
All right. Very good. Very good. Chef.
Give me the question one more time.
It's actually really simple, and it's just your opinion. Are you concerned about the future of males in the household
Nah,
with this current generation? Pretty simple, pretty straightforward.
nah, I'm not worried about it. As long as we're you know, training them in the way that you can only do the best that you can.
Absolutely.
Each generation builds on the next, and I think this generation is actually going to be stronger than the last. So I
Okay.
think we're all right.
All right. And my last thought would be, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I do have some concerns, and I know we can speak for the people that we directly impact, but there's a bunch of people that we don't, right? There's a ton of people. Now, hopefully we're doing a good job. We're doing the best job we can, and we're being helpful, not hurtful. Sorry about that.
Sound
Hopefully
like a
we're being
pager.
Hey, beat
You,
me
you,
911. That's my
you,
Sky.
you, you
That's my
strayed too
Sky
far from
town.
the
Stop
strayed
it.
too far away from the house. Huh?
The ankle bracelet, right?
That's
Stay
it.
home.
That's
You gotta
it.
tell everybody. Everybody gotta know. But anyway, what I'm saying is, I do have some concerns about the future, but to Chuck's point, it will get figured out, right? It doesn't have to work for me, right? The fact that it doesn't work for me is irrelevant, but it will get figured out, and everyone will make it work. But I think that we do have a generation of kids or people who feel that they're entitled. And I think that causes some laziness, some lackness, or all these different things. So that concerns me. And if that person who is in the head of your household, that could be a problem. That's my opinion. So again, just my opinion. So hey, we're gonna wrap this up. We're running a little bit long, but we still have a segment that we want to do. We have to do for our final show before the hiatus. And that is our drop the mic. So again, we haven't done it in a little bit, but again, drop the mic basically means say what's on your mind and anything you want to say and get it off your chest. It doesn't have to deal with what we just talked about. You could deal with anything you want. So we're gonna start with Mike. Drop the mic.
My drop the mic is simple, man. I know we're going on a hiatus. This whole thing with the podcast was learning experience. So all I can say is don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened.
All right.
I like that.
All right. Chuck, what do you got for us?
Well, in a vein, my topic today was politics, man, and looking over at some of the stuff it's still incredible to me, or even more incredible to me, that Congress allows blatant white privilege. I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to make it racial. I was trying to think of something else. But where I'm going with this is, you've got it's just Matt Gaetz. Here's a guy, we know he's going to jail at some point, whatever, pedophile, all this stuff. He's still allowed to show up in Congress. Marjorie Taylor Greene, still touting conspiracy theories. These fools all got together, went to prison to try and show how poorly the insurrectionists are being housed and treated in jail. These people are homegrown domestic terrorists. And these people are domestic terrorist sympathizers. Let's make that clear. So my drop the mic is, why on God's green earth are we allowing the homegrown domestic terrorist sympathizers to roam the halls of Congress freely?
Wow.
Let that sink in.
Yeah.
Drop the mic.
That's a good one. Charles, what you got for us?
I just want to take this opportunity to congratulate my brother, Chuck Smith, and his family for the launch of their new company and line of sauces
Oh my
called
God.
Black Ass Sauce. You see the graphic up here on the screen. Now, for those of you that don't know, Chuck has been in the barbecue catering / restaurant business for the better part of 2 decades. Now, this brother can throw down with the barbecue. Black Ass Sauce, let me tell you, is the real deal. Okay, I'm talking. It's absolutely delicious. Chuck and his wife actually catered my daughter's graduation party a couple of weeks ago, and people are still talking about how good that food was, especially my personal favorite, their classic barbecue sauce. My man he knocks it out the park. They're taking orders right now. I want y'all to go to this website and support this Black-owned business. www.blackassauce.com. Go
Yes,
there
sir.
right now today. Place your order. I promise you, you will be coming back for more. You would definitely not regret it.
Where do I send the check, man?
Nah, bro. Nah.
I'm just.
This,
I mean,
All right, all right. Yeah, that was good.
I appreciate that. Thanks, fellas.
it's all good, brother.
All right.
So my drop the mic is I'm gonna follow up. I'm gonna tag on to what Mike was just talking about. You know, we're at 70 episodes here. It's been a really good run. If you go back and listen to our first episode to now, oh my God. So, but hey, we've learned along the way. We've learned a lot more about each other. We've spent time with each other
I hate
multiple times each
Can't
week.
stand y'all.
Every week, boy, we're seeing these people every week, multiple times, and so there's been ups and downs. There's a lot of things that we've gone on, but what we want,
Hey, real quick for Mike, it's been mostly down though. Okay, go ahead. My bad.
but what we want to make sure, what we want to make sure is that in our hiatus, damn, that's some black ass sauce. In our hiatus,
I said it's been black ass eyes. That's what you like.
In our hiatus, we would like for you guys to all take some time and go and look at our library that we have out there on YouTube. If you look on the screen now, there's some information related to our YouTube site, and it's everything we've done. Each and everything we've done is listed there.
I see YouTube like and share. I don't see
What's that?
I see YouTube up there, but you said it directed them somewhere?
That's where we want them to go. YouTube.
YouTube. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess depending on what your screen looks like, you might see something a little different. But essentially, what we're trying to do is we want everyone to go to our YouTube, check us out. Rest assured, we are retooling. We're trying to get better at what we're doing. We're trying to come up with different and better topics, and just make sure that this process flows a little bit better all the time. So we want to thank everyone who's been rocking with us this whole time. It's been a journey.
Appreciate y'all.
Yes,
Definitely.
indeed.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you very much.
We've been a year and a half in on this thing, and we've had some good times. But we hope that what we've tried to do from the very beginning is impart a little bit of knowledge that we have into you. Maybe make you think about something a little bit differently. Hear a couple different ideas on a particular topic. If you go back, we have topics on all kinds of things, from arming Black America to financial security and financial fitness, men's health, including mental health. We've talked about
sex after 50.
Financial
sex
matters.
after 50.
Yeah,
Punk ass
that's
kids,
my
divorce.
My favorite sex after 50.
Don't forget the crossover episodes.
We have plenty of guests.
Yeah.
You're right.
Mhm.
You're right. We've had some really good guests, people who are doing big things in their own. So definitely look on our site. Go to YouTube, check us out, and you can scroll through our entire library, subscribe, like, share, and just spread the love.
And give us some comments too, because we like to improve. We like to improve on what we're working on. So please comment and give us some ideas of what you would like to see in the future, and we'll go from there.
All right. So again, thank you guys. That's my drop the mic. And again, thank everybody for joining us this time on our episode of Just Be a Man. Please go to our YouTube channel. Also, check us out on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and we're all over the podcasting platforms.
We're worldwide, baby.
And come back in September.
We're doing big things. So, Mike, what you got to tell us?
Hey man, I just want to say thank you. and deuces.